Hey, it's MK, and I am back with Off the Board. And today I am pulling my inspiration from these digital border strips. I am pulling out a pre-made embellishment that I made at a different series. I want to say it was in February, but I cannot remember. Or April. Oh, I might have done it in April. Anyways, I also have these Simple Stories chipboards in another bag, so I was trying to cover up the brand of the bag. Some leftover pieces that I'm not sure if we're going to make it on the page. I also have these stickers that I keep adding and taking away off this wax sheet. And then some die cuts left over from a kit club, from the KCC Kit Club, which is the Creative Cuts Club. I also have these acetate butterflies from 49 and Market, as well as all of these leaves. I was just too lazy to put them back in the packaging. So I have all of those. Not sure if I'm going to use all this stuff, but I pulled out everything that I wanted or possibly wanted to use on the leaves. I also have the rub-ons from 49 and Market, my 4 photos that I will be doing. I still am working with the rose and navy thickers. Not sure which one I'm going to use for my title just yet. I also pulled out a bunch of washi that I thought looked really well. Now, some of this washi is so old, it's actually yellowing, but that's okay because of the fact that I didn't want stark white. I also have some cardstock that from the 2 greens, I almost said green and blue, I die cut these leaves that came from a Stampin' Up! Set right here. That is what they look like. And it's a stamp set that's Forever Fern, and I bought it as a bundle. So I'm not really sure what the die cuts were called because I loved the stamps as well to go with it. I also have 2 pieces of wood grain that I'm going to intermix with each other for a 2-page layout. And then lastly, I have some leftover rings. They were offcuts from something that I was trying to design, and I forgot to change the setting on it. So I ended up with these uber super thin rings from my wood pieces. And I just can't throw them away, you guys, honestly. And then, of course, I've got this twine with lace on the edge. So I'm going to cut up my wood grain, and the first thing I'm going to do is cut it at 5 by 7. So that way I have 2 pieces, and I'm going to do the exact same thing with this dark wood grain. And at first what I was going to do is mix the 2 pieces up, but then when I had them all side by side, I didn't like them mixed up. I didn't like this because where are my photos going to go and where's the design going to go? So I decided to put the darker wood in the center and the lighter wood on the outside. And my design's going to go on the lighter wood so that way it shows up, especially those rub-ons that I plan on using. They're very, very pale, and I want them to look like they were kind of etched into the wood rather than, oh, I just slapped a rub-on on. So that's my design. Sorry if I seem a little bit like groggy this morning. It's just really weird. I woke up with kind of like a cough and little stuffy nose. Hopefully it'll go away the more I wake up. My tape is about ready to run out on me, so I'm gonna have to go and change that really, really quickly. And I cut it out so you didn't have to see. So now that I have my 2 pieces together, the first thing I was going to do is cover up the border, and then I started laying all my pieces down, and I totally forgot that I wanted to cover up the border. But by the time that I'm actually done laying everything out and getting everything done, I don't even notice the border anymore, so I'm okay that I totally missed that spot. So I want to use this pre-made embellishment, kind of sort of like a subtitle is what I was thinking of. This is just my husband's truck, and his friend is behind him, and they were 4x4ing in the trucks. So, and the thing about my husband's truck is it's a long bed, so it's a very, very long, huge truck that most people would not take 4-wheeling or 4x4ing because it's easier to get in and out of the valleys with a shorter based wheelbase. So yeah, so this was kind of a I bet you couldn't do it type thing. But when you get down there, what are you going to do? Around here, we just like to take the wrong turn off of a road and see where it takes us. Literally, we just go and we be on a dirt road and see a flat spot to get across the gutters. And we just start playing in the sagebrush, honestly. And so it's actually quite fun. You have to go real slow. It's not like you can step on it and go. You got to go real slow. You have to do some sharp turns to make sure that you don't run over things. But there's not a whole lot of rocks out there. So if we run over a sagebrush, it's okay. It's the rocks we have to worry about because of the undercarriage. But both my husband's truck and his friend have lift kits on their trucks. So some rocks are okay that we, can scrape by. Anyways, I am now just divvying up my supplies throughout both sides. I want to put those the leaf borders on both sides of my layout. And so I'm just taking the supplies. I took my rub-ons and cut them up and divvied them up to both sides. I also took the leaves that I die cut. Now I'm doing the chipboard pieces. I've also picked out which washi tape I want. It does change after a while. This is just a dry run. It's just maybe I want this, maybe I want that. Now I'm going through the acetate leaves and I'm realizing that it's kind of sort of not the leaf I was going for, but I do like the look of the different leaves. I didn't want just all the same leaf. I also found 2 leaves in the chipboard, and then I'm going to pull out these white leaves, but of course they're so big. I just don't know what to do with them when they're so big. So I just picked out 2, one for each side. And now I'm going through the little butterflies, which I decided to take out the butterflies that have a solid back, which I thought that butterfly that's only the half wing, I thought I had 2 of those. But then I found out that it was a clear, that it didn't have a backing to it. So I decided not to do it. All right, off camera, I took my photos and I went ahead and put them on a, what's it called? On a photo mat. Words. They're just so hard. I put them on a photo mat and then I went through and divvied up the rings because I almost forgot those as well. And so I also showed you guys where I did half the photo mats because it's really weird how I work. My brain bounces from this to that to everything else. It is absolutely crazy how my brain works. And so when I edit a video, it's like, okay, you did the photo mats and then all of a sudden your rings magically appeared. How did you do that? So I have to stop and halfway through putting the photo mats on, stop and show you guys how I put, where the rings came in. I know it's weird. So the washi tape that I picked for the left side, I really didn't like it, but I absolutely loved this weird washi tape for both the right and the left. And then what I'm also adding in is a clear polka dot, so that way I just have like a little bit of black polka dots up at the top of the leaves. So, and then some of the rub-ons that I chose to do are like postage stamps. So I got some of those going on, and I love the scale of them because they are perfect. They're not too big, they're not too small. They're absolutely perfect. And now I'm just trying to figure out how I am going to put all of the things down. Now the gap that is in here, I also decided to do for the title, but spoiler alert, I forgot about the title until I was taking photos. So you don't get to see it until the very end. I also took my white leaves and I sprayed them with all 3 of my Tim Holtz metallic sprays, mica sprays, which are the bronze, the copper, and the silver. And so I've kind of got like a mix, even though the copper was the first one that I sprayed on. So it's the one that you see the most, but up close and personal, you can definitely see the mix of all the different sprays. So, and I'm trying to decide if I wanted any of those words from that other rub-on sheet. However, they all go vertical. None of them go horizontal. And so I really wanted to stick it and keep it at a horizontal and all the words. So that doesn't happen. I don't end up using any of them. And even though I think I go back to it about 2 or 3 times. So almost forgot this last little rub on. Now it is going to be hard to see, especially on camera, but it is there. It does show up really well in person. So, and then of course I'm going to put those postage stamps down too. So everything is very faint and very light, and that's exactly how it looks in the example or in my inspiration borders. Is it's almost like they did rub-ons and stamping and everything, even though it's like a digital. These are all digital images of borders, but I do absolutely love recreating these things in real life. I just love how they look and things like that. I just wish that I would do it a little bit more. I don't seem to remember to do this very often. So I'm having the leaves go over the rings, just so that way I get a little bit of lift on the rings. So I'm only gluing them down where, just in a little bit, and then the things on top will help hold them in place. But I wanted them to go down and around the rings. I thought that was a good, it's a good movement type of a deal. And then I'm just cutting 2 leaves apart so that way I can put this fern leaf between everything. It just really stuck out like a sore thumb laying on top. So I wanted to blend it in with everything else. And then I'll use my butterfly to keep the ends of the leaves and things covered up. That's why I wanted to use the butterflies that have color to them rather than the see-through butterflies. So, and then I end up actually popping up the butterflies so that way they can overlap the chipboard pieces, and they also have a little bit of movement. I just feel like butterflies always should be popped up, in all honesty. I like that little bit of copper peeking through, and I wanted to put just this little label sticker inside, just in case. I don't plan on writing anything in here, but yeah, just in case. And then I have this beautiful sticker, but when I laid it down the first time, it was like right on top of the banner that's in the chipboard piece, and I didn't really like that. So I was going to offset it just a little bit, and I like that a lot more. And then when I add the title in later, it definitely seems to go really well with that cluster. So working on the left page now, I'm going to do the exact same thing, only this time I'm going to work around this frame piece. Again, I made this frame piece, I want to say back in April when I did a whole month. Well, it wasn't exactly a whole month, but all month long I worked on nothing but embellishments, and I really enjoyed that because now I'm able to put embellishments in with the orders from the folks that place orders in my shop, and as a little thank you gift. So I really like having all these embellishments hanging out and being available for me to grab quickly. So, and I do want this frame to overlap onto my photo because of the fact that it is wood grain as well. And then it also is a little bit hard to see when I lay it down on the other wood grains. So, and I'm just building the leaves around the portion of the frame. That way they look like they kind of grew from the frame. I know, I'm so weird. The things that go through my brain. And this rub-on here, it was definitely kind of a wasted effort. You really honestly can't see it by the time that I am done with all of the other layers, but I'm okay with that. It's still there, and it's still kind of seeable, so I'm okay with that. And then I'm just trying to add everything else in and around. I really do like how the chipboard and the butterfly go around that wood tree piece. And instead of putting my washi tape going all the way through, because you're really not going to see it behind everything else, I just decided to put it in strips of where you were going to see it rather than trying to go all the way up and down. So I like that. And these rub-ons rubbed right onto the washi tape as if they weren't even there. I really did enjoy that. And the fact that the washi tape is so thin that the rub-on doesn't actually do the little bumpy thing like when you do, when you try to rub it on across a couple layers. It doesn't do the whole bumpy thing and say, yep, I'm across a couple layers. So I really liked how it did that as well. All right, finally committing to the chipboard piece, and then I'm going to glue my frame down. I'm just going to put a ton of glue on the actual frame and not on any of the leaves. So yeah, I really do enjoy stuff like this. You know, the border clusters like this. Oh my gosh, where's the words? Clusters. Popping up my butterfly again because it's on top of the chipboard, but behind the wood grain piece or the wood tree piece. And then I also glued down that bottom leaf, which I shouldn't have because I haven't done my rings yet. In fact, I added them last, which I should not have done because now it's one of those things where I have to put them on top of everything instead of tuck them in to make them look like they weren't an afterthought. So, but it's okay. I end up actually liking where I put them. So just tucking them in where I could and holding them down a little bit. Now I do cut my leaves, these gold leaves. I do cut them in half so that way I could have, you know, 2 different spots. But the way that this one ended up being cut up, it doesn't look really natural, I want to say. And so I do have to figure out a way to help that out just a little bit. So I'm going to try and cover up that bend in the leaf. And I didn't like this label sticker, the green one, because it blended in too much. So I went with this kind of like a teal one. And then I'm going to use this little chipboard sticker that says outdoor. And I like this because the label was on top of the leaf, you know, the bottom one. And then the outdoor is on top of the second one. And then I'm going to go ahead and just glue my my feathers in place just because of the fact that I didn't want them to slide across the photo as people bend, you know, as people flip the pages. And I'm not really sure if as it slides, eventually it'll put a mark in, you know, on my photo from that movement. I don't know. It's just weird things that I think about that could or would happen. I also cut off some of my favoriteest twine in the whole wide world. I'm going to add it through. I just felt like it was missing some sort of texture. And so I'm basically going off of the natural curves in the twine and gluing them down in places where I feel like they where they belong, but I'm not going to put any of them on top of the wood circles. So just going to try to do that real quick. And then I have these teeny tiny itty bitty little paper clips that were the same exact color as the copper that I used in the leaves. So I thought that I would add one over here by this little, it's just a tiny little cluster that I put on a bare spot in a photo. I don't even know why I needed it. I just trying to draw your eye across the entire layout rather than I've got 2 embellishments on both sides. So, and then of course I went back to my Breeze cluster of sequins. Sorry, I have washi on the brain. And I'm only pulling out the yellow and the black. So I don't want just all the colors. I want the yellow and the black. And I absolutely love how this little bit of sparkle adds to these clusters. I feel like it's a finishing touch. And oh my gosh, I just love how these turned out, you guys. I am so sorry about, you know, like, I really like my stuff. So I'm very, very sorry. And I'm sorry that this video is so long. I wanted to leave in as much as I could. Again, I am struggling with one of those tiny little paper clips. I just wanted it randomly put on top of my frame because I glued my frame down so well. but the paper clip up at the top is going to help hold this twine in. And so I just went ahead and tucked it in one string at a time, and now I'm twisting it at its natural twist. I'm not extra twisting it, but I'm twisting it to try and get that extra flow and movement across the design. I don't think that it's in any of the digital leaf clusters, but I do know that they did use what looks like ribbon and stuff like that. So I think it's the same thing. Yeah. Adding a few more sequins. Now I don't go sequins heavy. I just add where I feel like it is, and my lights are really picking it up really well. I think that looks kind of cool, to be honest. And inside one of the label stickers, which I didn't realize they were both on the bottom. I wouldn't have done that. But the one is covering up a spot that didn't look natural, and another one is just because I felt like it needed to be there. I don't know. Maybe I'll add a third one somewhere else to throw off. I'm not sure. Yeah. So when I thought that I was done with all of the sequins, I actually realized that the cluster in the center needed a sequins too, but I think I wanted to add green because there isn't any green at all in the sequins mix. So in these two sequins mixes, I don't remember what the one is called, but the brighter one is actually called Avocado Toast. I love this one. The colors in it are just so bright and cheery, and I just love it. But I'm pulling out all of the greens because there isn't any in that small little cluster, and on both of the two larger clusters, there is the green. So, all right, that is it. Oh my gosh, all this mumbling is done and over with. You guys, I am so sorry for being so blah and boring today. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really enjoyed creating these awesome leaves. These leaf clusters. I love taking those digital borders and creating them out of real things. It's just one of my favorite things that I enjoy doing. Be sure to check out everyone else that is playing along with Off the Board all month long. I am actually enjoying all the people's different inspirations and what inspires them and what they create with that inspiration. It's just so much fun. Alrighty, I will check y'all later. Bye.